Alrighty. Hey guys, how's it going? We're going to do a fresh start. We're going to do another new project here. It's the same one. Um, it's just, I learned a couple things. One, if you create a project with Writer, it does not create the icons for you, and the file structure is weird. I'm going to recreate the project we had for goals. Not much done on it, so it's going to be pretty quick. And we'll go from there. But this needs to be a tabbed app, so we'll go choose the tab forms app template, and then we'll call it goals for now until I can come up with something better. And just find a directory for this. Okay. All right, it's gonna create a Git project for it. I'll show how to put that actually in GitHub. It's kind of annoying, but I will do that. Opened up in my other window for some reason. Give me a second, I'll move it. Okay. So another reason I'm not using Writer at the moment is it deadlocks every single time now that I've updated my Mac to Big Sur. I put in a bug for it, so I gave them logs and everything. So let's see what they say. But that has been very frustrating. Also, my internet has been just horrible for what I pay for. So Spectrum came on out and checked that, and they are working on it. It's not a great line, I guess, in the alleyway. So maybe I'll get them to upgrade it. We'll see. But for now, hopefully the stream's coming out decent. We are using hardware encoding now, so it should be 4K. Should do 4K just fine. It's just a matter of the internet connection at this point. Okay, so minimum Android version 5, I guess. Sure. Targets. I think I had problems with targeting 11, so I'm going to target 10. And that's good. Okay. And the other option I forgot to uncheck. So I'm still having the issue with fast assembly deployment, so I'm going to uncheck that. And now we should be able to run it. And while that runs, I want to look for the icon. So it's under resources. It's in these mip-map folders. There's one for different sizes. It's AnyDP, but version 26 of the Android API or Android SDK. And then this one's for slightly larger screens, all the way up to XXX HDPI. That's just the density of the pixels on the phone, or the device, I should say. It's a category, so anything below this. All right, it's launching. Another thing I noticed about Xamarin Forms, and the last couple of days I've been messing with it, is that it's kind of slow. I've only been testing on an emulator, but still, it should be much faster. So this eventually will load. I don't know if you remember the very first stream, excuse me, but it was white. It was widescreen, right? So I thought there was an issue. Maybe there was back then, but now it's not an issue. It's just really, really slow. So you just gotta wait for it. All right, so we have two tabs out of the box. They got this title here. This one even has a button that links out, and this one has a list that you can add things to. This brings up a whole new screen where you can add new items. So this is kind of what we actually want. Like, it's very close to what we want for our MVP. So we're gonna use this as a starting point, and just to show that it works, that shows up here. Okay, so let's now that we know that works, I mean, I guess I'll run iOS as well. sorry, over here, stop, iOS. Alright, so this is poor stream health again. So, looks like my internet dipped. Sorry if it's lagging, guys. I might just end up recording these if this one comes out bad. Oops. I accidentally killed the simulator, so rerunning. So I want to show you guys the icons. So out of the box in Xamarin, it gives you an icon like, where is it? It should say goals, like this little Xamarin logo. Should be a similar thing on iOS once that loads up. See some warnings here. It's about the target version. Is it still running? Let's try again. All right, so the tabs are in a different spot for iOS, but it's the same app. You can add stuff, and it shows up, slides in from the sides instead of the bottom. And the icon you can see here is pretty much the same thing. So as if it's a square with rounded corners. So we want to change that. So I came up with a temporary icon of our own that we can use. Let's drop those in place. So these are the folders for Android. Let me just pull up the icon that I have ready. 1 second. All right, so just use some website that you give it an image and it makes you the app icons for both platforms, everything you should need. So for Android, here's all the folders, HDPI. So we'll just drag these over here. They should replace what they call it here is icon.png. So I'll rename this. And this was HDPI. We'll copy it over. Overwrite the file. Now when we open this up, should be our new image. A small version of it. So get it, Cloud Robots. It's pretty cheesy, but that's what I came up with so far. All right. This is MDPI. Just drop that in there, copy it over, overwrite. Oops. Wrong one. XHDPI. Here. All right, that should be all of them. Yep, that's the XX. This is the XXX. Great. Okay, looks like there was also a default, or this is the Xamarin logo. I don't know where that's used. Might replace that at some point. That might be used on the load actually, and the any DPI. So looking at that one, what size is this? Oh, it's XML. I see. So this is just in charge of, I imagine it uses the launcher foreground. Okay, that's this other image here. Alright, so I don't know if we need both of those replaced. We might. Let's try running it. That's iOS. Okay, so I think this might actually just been the background. So maybe the one we want. No, because we looked at it first. Yeah, I'm not sure. Let's check it out. What is the purpose? Application icons are divided into two layers, the foreground layer and the background layer. In other words, when we design the application icon, we need a separate foreground and background. The foreground is used to display the logo of the application icon. The background is used to set off the logo of the application icon. It should be noted that the background layer is only allowed to define color and texture, but not shape. Alright, but what we actually see as the background, so launcher background, your launcher foreground was used here. If I put my icon to every bitmap folders, then I change the code in the icon XML. My icon. Alright, so what does ours look like? Yeah, background and foreground, but where's background? I don't actually see that, so let's change this to icon and then try again. So this is a color, that's why I don't see an image for it. So this color is white. So we can actually go ahead and delete the launcher foreground PNGs. Just got some errors here. Failed linking file resource. Which one? I just need to do a clean. What did that error say? Not found. So where's mipmap? There is no mipmap folder. Just these category specific ones. Icon.xml, icon.png, icon.png. Oh, and drawable. So this wasn't Xamarin logo before, was it? No. Why can I not find it in the mipmap folders? It's got to be a caching issue. Clean. Remove from device. Alright, well if we change it back, we could easily just rename these. Would that give us the same error? Oh, didn't rename. Oh, you know what? This one still says, the round one still says launcher foreground. I wonder if that was the problem. Oh, there's no PNG icon. And then, what was this one? Yeah, I might have said PNG. Okay, so rename this back to icon. That's probably all it was. Alright, so it used the wrong icon. It used the default Android. Interesting. So there must be another piece to this. It's not that. Yeah, not sure what's going on, but it's not finding the icon, so it's just using the default. So I'll have to try look more into that later. For now, I spent enough time on this. Let's get this in Git, and let's make a couple changes. So I know how to do this in Writer. It's probably going to be a little more difficult in Visual Studio. Let's check it out. So we can push and pull and review the commits and all that, but how do I add this to GitHub? So let me try using the GitHub app. And while I'm at it, pull up my GitHub. So I'm going to add a local repository because this should already have one. We checked that option when we created the project. All right. Publish this repository to GitHub. Yes, so that's how we can do it. Before I do that, I think I already have a project with this name, so give me a second. I'm just going to delete it. Ah. Okay, so let's try pushing this. Guess we'll call it the initial commit. You know, before we do that, I would love to have a git ignore in here. Okay, we still have a git ignore. Great. All right. Looks like Visual Studio populates it for you, which is sweet. All right, so we commit that. Publish repository goals, private. All right, now here it is. Everything is there. Great. So let's make a small change. Let's clean up. Let's get rid of the default stuff and clear it out and get ready to add new functionality. So we don't want any crap we don't need. So it looks like this has UI tests already, and it has a mock data store. So yeah, I think this is probably using the test. Let's check. Okay. This might be how they're actually storing the items that you can add, which is interesting. Does that mean, because this doesn't look like it's stored. Yeah, I see nothing that stores it in a SQL database or anything. So let me try something. Yeah, if I add an item, All right, so if I add this test item and then so I notice it's there and then I close the app, is it still there? No, it's gone. So it's just loading these default items. So this is not actually what we want in the end. We want to actually store locally and probably even on a server at some point. But that's fine. This will do for now. I might just change the default items that are in there. What I have in mind is more like a bulleted list where items can have sub-items. So I don't know that we'll be able to do that today, but we can start by just having the default items be the three that I would imagine, which are, so these are goals, right? So you want to be healthier, you want to be wealthier, and you want to be wiser. So those are high level goals, all right? As enter sub goals, or we'll just call them sub goals. Well, I don't really actually like having a description here. Let's put nothing there for now. If anything, we could use this field for like a rating system. Let's do that. Let's say green, yellow, dark red. So if we had a ranking system of how well you're meeting your goals, this one you're really meeting it, this one you're not meeting it at all. And let's just check that change real quick. Shouldn't break anything. But since we don't have real tests yet, this is the only real way to test. So by making these changes, it helps us get to know the app and what's already there for us and remove anything we don't need, and put a pin in it to say, hey, let's come back to this later. So this mock data store is going to have to be replaced with a SQL data store, and then eventually an Azure backend data store. But it's good that they already have the design that it uses a repository. I think it's, maybe they don't use repository. We definitely would want to use a repository class, but we could talk more about that as we go. Okay, so healthier, wealthier, wiser. What's interesting is the description kind of fits where I would expect a sub goal to go. So what is an item? Let's look at that now. Item is an object. I'm guessing custom object? It is. So this was defined in our models, and it has ID, text, and description. And then somebody maps this to the UI. So let's see how they map that to the UI. Let's go to our view model. So items view model has a collection of items. And what I'm looking for is description. It's not here, so maybe it was item detail. No. Base view model. Description. Let's just search the app for description. I want to know how they bind this to the view in the Xamarin app. We could see who uses the model class itself. Here we go. Label text binding description. So where is this? Okay, so this is actually in the view. Sorry, not the view model. They do data binding, so you can directly do this in the view. So it's a label, and it's just in a group called a stack layout. And the other item in here is another label. for the title of the goal. And the style used in the first one is list item text. The one used in the second one is list item detail text. So in reality, the way they're doing this is a single object that they're displaying, but I might be able to use something similar. But what we want instead of items is we want goals and sub goals. And so instead of binding this to the description of the item, it could be the name of the sub goal. But we need a way to map sub goals to goals. So we have to look at how they're loading these items to begin with. Let's look. So this is a refresh view. I'm guessing since the data store could change, right? It also has a way of knowing if it's currently refreshing. We'll look more into that later. It has a command, binding load items command. So that's probably what's handling the mapping, pulling the list of items. At least we would want to load we want to load goals and sub goals. So I gotta look at how they're creating this command. And what else? So this is a collection view. Its source is items. So where's items with an S? Okay, so we have a couple things to look into. Let's look for items. One thing I miss about Writer is being able to search for files just by double tapping shift. Alright, so items with an S. It might just be a syntax thing where it pluralizes item, but where's item even specified? I don't see it. I just see load items command. Could be in this command. This is the items view model. So that makes sense. The data binding has another part to it in the view model itself. Okay, so these are all in the view model. Great. Okay, so this is a command. So that's a C# thing. It's been a while. I haven't touched C# since college. Well, I mean, I've touched it, but like really done it for a long time. So yeah, this comes from, it's form specific. Excuse me. But I'm sure it's just following the command pattern, which is a common design pattern. But let's see, if we look at it, it has an action that you can execute. Yeah, so that's what you'd expect in command pattern, so that's fine. How do you go back in Visual Studio? Not like that, not like that, not like, oh, okay, not really like that. View, toolbox, no. I don't have a toolbar. Is this? No. Classes. Nope. Test results. No, 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 no. Tool output. So I like to spend time figuring out shortcuts because you're going to just do the same thing over and over. So it's worth finding the Visual Studio Mac 2019 shortcuts for going to previous file. previous document. Windows curly brace. Let's see if that works. No. Switch to previous document. Control Shift. What is that? Right arrow. Control Shift. Nope. Nope. I'll try later. Looks like it's probably just a limitation of Visual Studio for Mac. Alright, so where were we? Looking at this command, load items command. So it's got a getter, setter. What does it actually do? Let's look. Where is it using it? Here. So it just creates a new command that runs an async task called execute load items command, which is a task defined right here. So first it says it's busy. I'm guessing that's what's used by the UI. We saw something referring to busy before, so it knows it's refreshing, right? It clears all the existing items. So where's items? Items is stored as an observable collection in the items view model. Okay, so let's say first time we load, it's empty anyways, clearing nothing. And then it defines a local items variable. Notice local variables is lowercase. And it gets it from the data store. So get items async. In this case, it's just the default. Well, this is the interface for the data store. But if you go to, I can't go back, so annoying. If you go to the mock data store we saw before, the get item async returns items dot first default. That's a single item. That's not it. It's from results. Just close some of these windows. Get items async. Get items async. I want to go to the implementation. Come on, Visual Studio, show me how to get there. Nope, doesn't want to take me. Quick actions, refactorings. Go to declaration, go to implementation. Not that. Wait, yeah, that one. Okay, get items async. And if do you want to force refresh or not, it's passed in. So this calls task from results items. This must be the local items. Yeah, stored here in a read-only list. And from results, because items is a list, I don't know why it's using task stuff from results. I guess normally if this wasn't mock, this would actually be a result object task or something. Okay, but that returns the list, and the list is just it's just hard coded here to these new items when you create the mock data store in the first place. So these are the items being returned, or at least a list of them. All right, so if I wanted to return items and or goals and sub goals, or I might want to get them separately. I might want to get goals and then sub goals related to them. I would create new functions here that know how to get those. So we might do that. And then once it has the items, it adds them all to the observable collection here, and then I'm guessing the observable collection is being observed by the UI, and that's what updates the UI. And then finally it says it's no longer busy, so the UI updates that as well. So let's just double check so there's a subscribe here, messaging center subscribe, new item page item, this add item. So this is when someone adds a new item and they add it to the item store using the data store. What we want is the load. So observable collection items. So this is what is being referred to in the UI. So let's go back to not item details. It was items page. Yep. So here's the command to load the items, and when you refresh, I guess, because it seems to do it when it refreshes, probably calls once at the start as well. The collection view itself, it has an items source, and that's the binding items, and items is the class, is the variable mentioned in that class. So how does it know to get to the view model? There must be a reference to the view model here, or could just be that's how the binding works. Yeah, binding must just know where to look. Same thing with text. It has to know that the text refers to the item in the items list. So if I change this to text 2, does it even know before compiling that that doesn't exist? Doesn't look like it. So this should fail. Should fail, right? Because it can't bind to a field called text on item. Or sorry, text2 on item doesn't exist. But it's not failing. So this means it happens at runtime, which is pretty scary. Let's check. Hopefully it handles it gracefully and doesn't just crash. It's data binding for you. I guess it speeds up compile time. So I wonder if this white screen is the refreshing UI. Alright, so the goals appeared and I emptied the text. So how is it still mapping? How is it mapping? Oh, it's not. Okay, so dark green, these are the descriptions. And what's missing is the healthier, wealthier, and wise. So it doesn't crash, handles it gracefully. That is at least nice. But it's one thing you gotta be watching out for when you're using data binding in this case. You gotta make sure you have a view model called items view model. I'm guessing if I rename this would fail. And you got to make sure that your item or whatever object you're binded to, in this case a list of items, so this list knows that the object type is item. Then the labels, when you bind to fields, you got to make sure these fields are actually in the type item. So there's definitely room for human error here, which is unfortunate. But you could cover that with UI tests, since that's really the only way to know that there's an issue here, since it does compile. Alright, I think that's good for now. I'm going to just double check my assumption here that the naming convention matters. Otherwise it's specified in another file somewhere, which is also possible. In fact, I think I know where it might be. So this is item pages XAML. It might be an item pages XAML.cs. Let's check. View model. Ah, there it is. Okay, good. So it's not a naming convention. That's actually a good thing. When the items page loads, it initializes component. That's just a Xamarin Forms thing it does. And then it has a binding context, which I'm guessing also a Xamarin thing. When you use the term binding in the UI, binding context equals view model, which is here. And that's set once on the creation items page to items view model. Okay, and on item select, this what handles navigation to open up that new item detail page. And what else? Add an item button is also handled here on the items page. So this is where they pop the new item page. And this is a modal because it pops up over the other ones. Whereas this just replaces the current page on the stack. And this is Xamarin specific terminology, but it's pretty common to how you would do it, at least on Android. And the on appearing, this must be similar to on, Vue did appear, API for Android and whatever iOS a similar one is. So this is just must be part of content page interface. So if I go into content page, you can't really see, but it should also have on page appearing. All right, and so when it appears, it checks if there's any items. If there's not any items, then it marks it as busy. Okay, so what happens? So that means items view model can be marked busy at the start when loading and also when it's already started loading. So the only thing that marks it as not busy is when it finally finishes this execute load items command. All right. Okay, so I think I'm pretty happy with all these pages, even the new item page, I guess. I would probably rename a couple things. So it's just a small thing, but instead of calling these items, I would like to call them goals. Okay, so let's just do that now. I don't know the refactoring in Visual Studios. Let's try rename. All right, great. So if I rename it here, it's going to rename it everywhere in theory. Let's see if that happens. Call this goal. Didn't rename the actual name, local name, just the class name. So shortcut is Windows R. Windows R. Wait, is that Windows? Sorry, Command R. On my keyboard here, that's probably, what is that? Alt, Control. I don't know what key it's mapped to. Oh, okay. Oop, not that one. All right, so it is Windows on my keyboard. Okay. This is goals well. Cool. And view model itself should be goal detail view model. Great. And title goal.text. That's fine for now. Title, but I might change that later. I noticed the file name didn't change though. So let's rename that now. And that was the detail. So the actual view model, it's called items view model, I just noticed. Goals view model. And these instead of goals will be, or items will be goals. What else? Item. Load items command can be renamed to load goals command. Execute load. I don't know how I got here. Execute load items command would be execute load goals command. Add item can be add goal. New item, new goal. So this one actually is not. Yeah, I guess it's still adding a goal, but I think we want to add sub goals. But you probably won't do that with the add button. You'll probably do that by clicking the goal itself. So this would be in the case we want to add an actual high-level goal. Okay, goals.add, data store, add items, async, new goal. This one, add items, async, should be add goal, async. Execute load goals. This one's items, goals. Get item async. Get goals async. Goal. Okay, no more items here. Items we want, goals, new model. Alright, I'm sure there's a few more. Item pages, goals page. So this is binding to item, which I don't think I renamed yet. That's the model, so let's change that. So this is renamed a goal, but this file is not, so. So it doesn't rename, that's another thing. The binding UI, the way the UI is binded, it doesn't, the renames don't affect this. So you'd have to type it. Any other items here? Okay. Goal detail page. Do a find and replace, match capital. Can't do that because one of these actually should be item. The data binding also uses item. All right, so what's the next one? Toolbar items, toolbar item, we don't care. Add item clicked, we do care. Add goal clicked. Toolbar items, binding load item should be load goal. Load goals. Items, collection views, still items, binding to goals instead of items now. Item template, I think that's actually, yeah, that's part of Xamarin. Okay. What's next? List item text style. That's actually stays as item as well. On item selected, I think we renamed, or we should have renamed. I'm not sure though. Maybe not. Let's find it. Keeps taking me here. Okay, so this is in the goals, so we can change. Well, can we change that? I don't know if that comes with content page. Let's try changing it. Yeah, it's not an override. I didn't see that. Like this one is an override, this one is not. Okay, so we can change it. And that one's fine. So that should be everything there. Let's run it and see what we missed. Not sure what it doesn't like about this. Potential fixes. So this is supposed to come from content page. I don't understand why it's confused. Goal details page. Goal detail page. Oh, it's under goals. So if we go to this. Oh, there's goals. Goals views. It's because of this. Okay, what went wrong here? Must have broke something. Can I undo? Okay, so now it just doesn't like these. I'll rename these back to goal. So what's the difference? To check the stream, I don't know. Must have been missing curly brace or something. Okay. Was that it? Goals.views.goals goals page. Not found. There is a goals page. Goal detail page also not found. Oh, because this is called items page still. Okay, and same thing, the goal detail page must be wrong. Oh, this actually just says item. That already exists, goal detail page. I don't know why I'm trying to create these. Just need to rename it here. So now it complains again. Item detail page. Does not make sense. Should be able to rename this. Okay, that time it worked. Not this one though. New goal page. New goal page. What are we missing? Oh, it's still called new item page here. also use goal detail page. Goal detail page. Yeah, it doesn't like it again. Must be something in here. Content page. It's almost like it doesn't recognize this name anymore. Yet that's the name used. Let's try creating it. So a new XAML page. So if we go to forms, content page XAML, and we call it goal detail page. Goal detail page. And then we just borrow this. Delete the old one. Right, so I have to do that for all of them. Ah, this tool sucks. Can't even rename a class. Okay, we'll just do this. Add new file. Call it goals. I guess I should rename this one. Okay, this is frustrating, but almost done. All right, and the last one is new goal page. Why does it not? New goal page. Oops. Pretty sure Microsoft wants you to use Windows if you're going to use Visual Studio Code or Visual Studio, because this is unusable almost. Still doesn't like this one. It's called new goal page, new goal page. Don't see the problem. Oh, this one still says new item page. Add goal clicked. So it doesn't find that. So let's go to CS and look for add item clicked. Okay, so that was wrong. Any other items in here? This one. Okay, that should be it. All right, so now that we're up and running with a basic project, basic app that has tabs the way we want them, and actually, does it have tabs the way we want them? We're double check something. I don't think I changed the tab names yet, so I want to change those too. But it has the ability to add items to a list, though it's only mocked right now. One of the next major things we need to do is be able to add sub goals, so sub items. So I'll probably work on that using the mock data to start, and then after that, I don't want to go too much further before getting this thing testable. So there's not a lot of logic in here. Actually, there's like none. It's just UI feedback. um, storing things in a local variable. When you add it to a list, that's about it. Yeah, okay, so I wanted to change these tabs to browse and about. We want, we're going to call this mind map because it's going to be kind of a map. You're going to put all the sub goals you can think of, and map them to goals, and then about will be, might reverse these at some point, but that'll probably be today, and that's where you'll check off, the goals that you did successfully today. So let's make those quick changes. Where is browse? Here. Just say goals. What's weird is there's two places I noticed where titles are set. I'm not sure if both are really needed. And then the other one was about. So we'll change about to today. And we'll change the about page. We'll try renaming it, see where we get with that. Today page. I just have to create a new one. Okay, that's today page, but there was also a view model, so I'll rename that. About view model to today view model. Really dumb that I have to rename it twice. File and the class name. Okay, we don't actually need a button there, so I want to get rid of the, here's the second title. I don't think it's needed, but for now it's fine. So I'm going to get rid of this command to open a web link. I'm going to go back into the XML, and it's going to want to bind, what is this? Content page binding. View model was not found. Should be found now. The only thing missing should be the link. So right here, binding open web. So that's a button. We can get rid of the button. And then also there's a label here. We can simplify this. We don't need a formatted string or anything like that. In fact, we can just get rid of this whole label. We don't need two labels. Don't need any labels really. This screen's gonna look totally different when we're done with it. So for now, just keep it simple. There's a second label. We don't need formatted string. Don't need formatted text. So this is a scroll view. We don't even, we'll leave the scroll view for now, I guess. This is the Xamarin logo. We don't need the logo. So we can get rid of the stack layout above the scroll view. And I guess we can let it do auto height, see if that works. All right, let's try that. All right, it says I can't find this view. So where's views? View. today page. So same as before, it's broken. No, I changed it. Fuck. That's fine. We don't really need much in there anyways. I think an empty page is fine for now. All right, so we got goals and we got today. Today is doesn't have the title up here, so that means that that second title we saw is necessary. Did that crash? Yeah, it looks like it couldn't find the page, so this is still buggy. All right, well, we could undo this. Undo this. Nope. Don't want to run. Stop. Why does it keep asking to overwrite? Is there another one? Oh, there is another one. Let's see. Just doesn't want to load now. Let's look at this main page. It just says it can't find today page, which is weird. If I said about page, it wouldn't find it either. If I said today, now it finds it. So what's the problem? Crashed the whole emulator. Notice iOS has images for the tabs. Looks like the emulator's just done for the day. Me too. It's taking up a lot of CPU. You can do it. I have faith in you. Let me restart Visual Studio. Okay, gonna run this one more time. If all is good, call it a day. this warning mean? Xamarin Forms recommends target platform in version 10.0.1 for blah blah blah. Where is that set? Alright, goals today. Just some text there. Okay, so we went through a lot today. Troubleshooted a lot mostly, but hopefully you got, just more of a feel for where things are in Xamarin. Still got to figure out how to set those icons, having issues there, and then we can start on the new features of adding sub goals and adding some tests. So thanks for watching, and yes, I just saw a comment. This is such a struggle. I'm actually really thinking about just using my Windows machine and then only using Mac for compiling iOS or whatever it's needed for, because this is just insane. Can't find anything in this Visual Studio. But anyways, hopefully they get back to me from JetBrains on the writer issue, and I can at least use writer. That would probably solve some of these problems, but that's also dreaming, so who knows. Last thing to do, I should check in these changes. They're all just refactors, renames, nothing major. So renames and simplifying. I think I removed some buttons and stuff. Just push that on up to our repository and call it a day's work. We'll have some more exciting work in the future, don't worry. But this is the nitty-gritty I told you, I promised you would see. So thanks for watching, and see you next time.